Good morning, everybody. Welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. We're back with the series we're running for the entire month of November, which is my 30 favorite rock lyricists. So we got an interesting one today. This is kind of a duet, I guess. I'm not really sure if they're both doing all the writing and one of them's doing the writing and one of them's doing the music. I think there tends to be a little bit more of that than just them both writing, but I would be surprised if they both don't have some input into each side of that equation. So of course we're talking about the famous duet of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. We got Mick here on the front, all tattooed up, and then Keith on the back, all tattooed up. So my guess is that Mick does almost all the writing and that Keith does most of the musical stuff. That would make sense to me based on the stuff I've heard over the years. But I also suspect that Keith has some input into the lyrics, and of course Mick will have some input into the sound of the music as well. I don't think it's just entirely one way or the other. I chose 3 albums by them to kind of represent what I wanted to talk about. So the first song on this is Start Me Up. Typical Rolling Stones song, at least from this time period. Very catchy riff. The music is catchy, and the lyrics are frontal and very indrawing. They draw people in. That's what I think of. What I think of the Stones, I think their lyrics hit home where people kind of get a feel for them right away. And I think I think it's by design, but I also think it's really a way in which they write. If you want, it's a model for their writing. And that song is as good an example of it as any of their music. Another is their newest album. So that was 40 years ago or more. This one was a couple years ago. It's their newest album. Same thing with the title, well, not the title track, but the opening track, which is Angry. They also did a video for this. Typical Stones thing, relationship type song, and the problems that occur in it, and the catchy nature of the music, of course, really lends people to really listen to the lyrics on these songs quite a bit. And that one is the next one. The next one up from my favorite, probably my favorite Stones album, or my most well-known Stones album, which is this one, Some Girls, released back in '78, so quite a while ago. The Beast of Burden is my track on this album, but also to me you could use Some Girls or Miss You here. They're all talking about relationship type things that hit home with the average person. The lyrics are really good. The music really adds depth to all of those lyrics. So you could just recite those lyrics and nobody would care. Or you could just play the music. Maybe people would care, or maybe they wouldn't care depending on the lyrics, but I think the two of them together really add some real outstanding stuff to this stuff. So I think this is a great combination. So I decided to include them both, even though I suspect that Mick Jagger is the primary writer here, and Keith may only have a small input into the writing part, but definitely it's a combination for both of them to make the music successful. So that's why I chose them today. Anyways, I hope you've liked this video. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to leave comments about either the group, which is the Rolling Stones, or either of the members, Keith or Mick, or if you just want to pick your own person to go on this list today, you can do that as well. Anyways, I hope to see you all tomorrow. So have a good day, afternoon, evening, and good night here from the Prog Monster.